Give a listen to John's story right now. I've been an artist pretty much all of my life, and I've just decided to get out of the hardware business. I want to run my own painting business and do some sculpture as well. I enjoy doing a variety of things. It gives me just a lot of pleasure to rebuild and restore beautiful things and to share them with people. But I must admit, I'm very nervous about my finances. I'm not sure if I can make it work. Here's Tim's reply. Man, that sounds crazy. Giving up a stable job and launching a startup. Man, I know so many people who try to do what you do and it just doesn't work out. In fact, my uncle went from a factory job and started his own lawn care business only to have it fall flat on his face. And then he had to go back to the factory. Besides, a lot of people are just doing their own painting anyway. I mean, heck, painting is easy. Man, I painted our whole house last year. We wanted a different shade of tan so that it would match the brick better. So after we picked the paint, I rented some equipment and painted it for half the cost that someone would have charged me to come and do it. Man, you better stick to the hardware, man. Well, have you ever been in a relationship where you have decided that what you have to say is just not being heard or being given credit or valued? But here are 5 approaches that I'm going to encourage you to use if you perceive no one is listening to you. Well, number 1, speak congruently. As you're sharing your story, make sure that you're inserting a feeling word along with the details of your thoughts. The most important aspect of your statement is how you feel about what you are thinking. Head and heart, the most vital elements in your conversations. If I were sharing a story about my dream of starting a painting business, somewhere in the story I would include maybe this statement. I'm excited and nervous at the same time about starting this business. Notice that I included that emotion of exciting and nervousness about my thoughts of starting my own business, so that's congruent speaking, both, okay? Secondly, ask a question. If you believe that the person to whom you are speaking ignores you, doesn't understand, or maybe changes the subject without considering what you just stated, then try this approach. Ask the person a question. Like, I'm not sure I stated very clearly what I was feeling about starting my business. Yeah, I'm pretty nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. Did you get that? And if they say, yeah, then affirm them by saying thank you. And I really appreciate that you take the time to listen to me. It really means a lot to me. So when the person validates your emotions about your thoughts, make a point of thanking them. Praise goes a long way in correcting behavior. Do you know how you train killer whales to jump a rope that's like 10 feet off the water? Well, what you do is apparently, I hear, you put the rope in the bottom of the tank, and the first time it swims over the rope, you reward it. And then you start raising the rope slowly, and each successful attempt over the rope, it's rewarded. Well, killer whales lean into reward and praise, right? But people lean into affirmation as well. If they totally miss what you had said, gently remind them and ask them to share what they heard you say and repeat the above measures until you can affirm their efforts by thanking them for listening. I really appreciate the time and effort you take to understand where I'm coming from, my thoughts, my feelings. Just thank you for doing that. And then you might say, I'll be sure to let you know what I eventually decide. Number 3, consider confrontation. However, I would encourage people to evaluate the status of the relationship before you confront. Consider the pyramid of speaking truth with love. The bottom portion of that pyramid is where love and compassion have been built over time, and it handles the part of the pyramid where truth and action and confrontation exists. But the bottom part must be built before the top can exist. So if you're experiencing a conversation with a non-compliant person, and maybe you've evaluated that this relationship deserves and can handle confrontation, then validate the relationship. Hey, I love you, I care about you, you're important to me, and then use an I statement to phrase your complaint. You know, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. It's really important to me as I share my dreams and my aspirations. Thank you. However, you know, I'm feeling a bit frustrated that, you know, when I share my thoughts, when I share what I feel, you seem to be preoccupied with other people who have started businesses. You know, can we talk about that? So always using an I statement and then follow up with an invitation to continue the conversation. Because you know, you statements are an attempt to shut down conversations. I statements generally aid in continued discourse. And number 4, manage expectations. You know, if the conversation is with a person you consider just unable to change with the above measures, that you might conclude that your discussions will not be completely safe with this person. In other words, they may always be one-sided conversations. I would always listen, though, and validate as they speak, but not expect them to return the favor. You know, 2 things usually happen when you give up the need for people to listen to you. One is, as you use good listening techniques with them, they might eventually catch on, and then you will have demonstrated what you desire from them. See, some people just need good examples to follow over time. Or number 2, your resolve to let go of the need for them to listen to you will give you peace. And it'll give you the ability to focus on relationships that are mutually beneficial and safe. And finally, number 5, I would just encourage you to not give up on people. Believe in the power of good conversation. Decide to be a good role model of speaking congruently and truly listening to what people are saying. Because everybody has a story worth listening to, even you. Well, I want you to take some time right now to practice these 5 tips for interacting with a non-listener.